This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
About how many miles you can get out of the C-Max Hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Giving all your time. Thank you. Putting your life on the line in Iraq, Afghanistan, all those far off lands. Thank you. All those husbands, wives, and kids. Thank you for the sacrifice you give for me, my friends, and family. I wanna shake your hand and salute you for keeping us all free. You're the Air Force, Army, Navy, and the USNC. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for all those battles that you won in the jungles back in Nam. You kept on marching on. Thank Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to WTF. I'm your host, V. Wright.
And I am Jose Estevez. Folks, we are coming to you live, unrehearsed, unscripted, and unpolitically correct. And yes, on Thanksgiving evening, this is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot radio show.
And imagine that, somebody coming live on Thanksgiving evening. But we kind of felt like that was important tonight, didn't we?
Are we crazy? No, we did think that was important.
Well, I mean, we did have the option to recast, but
we did.
You know, we just felt like it was better to be here and remind people that it is Thanksgiving. Everything is not always about the latest headlines or what's going on in this nation. Sometimes we have to take an opportunity to really reground ourselves and remind us of our roots and do those things that, you know, that remind us of the things that we should appreciate, the things that we should be grateful for. You know, one thing that my brother said today at our family get-together for Thanksgiving, and he you know, read a Psalms from the Bible, and he said, you know, the thing is that particular Psalms has been proven scientifically true, and that is, if you are a grateful and appreciative person, scientists have proven that it makes you a happier person. And it was interesting that he brought that up. So anyway, I had a wonderful day with my family. Of course, I didn't stay as long as I normally would. I was only there for a couple of hours, and usually I would stay about 4 or so. I stayed about half of that today. Had a lavish meal because, you know, we get together in a very big group, and there are, you know, 20 to 30 of us, and everybody brings something. However, this is the first time in, I think, 28 years that I cooked absolutely nothing on Thanksgiving.
Oh, my goodness. Really?
Nothing. And I had some very upset folks and wanted to know where some particular items were.
Okay, what were they? You got to share them with us. Come on, it's all about food. Let's talk about food. We're going to talk about other things, but what were they? What were they?
Well, you know, people have an affinity for my macaroni and cheese.
Okay, what's the special ingredient? Can you tell us?
I will not.
Okay, well, I just asked. Don't shoot the messenger.
They particularly love the way that I do my turkeys. Now, I do my turkeys a little bit different than everybody else. Everybody else goes to the store, buys one, thinks it's good. You know, I don't do that. I believe in brining mine for 3 days.
Oh, my word.
So I brine mine for 3 days, and it just gives it nice, moist, and flavorful, and, you know, you infuse that flavors all the way through the meat instead of just on the skin on the outside. So
okay, I'm drooling over here right now.
And of course, normally, you know, I would do a big pot of greens, or, you know, something of that nature to go. Now, that's of course only if I'm going where I usually go on Thanksgiving. Now, if I'm doing it here at the house, it's an all-out feast for 40. It really is. I go insane. I really do.
That's a lot of food.
But I do that. There's 3 times of the year that I do that. That's Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter.
Okay. Yep.
And, I go all out. I'll do, fresh made bread from scratch, and, I'll do a turkey and a ham and the stuffing and macaroni and cheese and, of course, green bean casserole. Everybody likes green bean casserole.
Oh, I wouldn't say everybody. I'm going to be one of those.
A big pot of greens and, let's see, we've got things like squash casserole and potato salad and peas and rice and gravy and, the list just goes on. And there's, no one ever leaves a function at Thanksgiving, Christmas, or Easter at my house or in my family hungry. If you do, it's your own fault.
It's your own fault. Right. Exactly.
But it was nice. It was very nice.
And what is the deal with this time of the year? You see everybody calling like the Butterball hotline and everything, how to cook a turkey. I'm going to give away a little secret here, folks. I've been cooking turkeys for about 20 years, and I'm going to be honest with you. I have never had an issue with it, although one year, the first time I did it, we found the gizzards and the neck and everything because I forgot to take it out of the cavity. But no, they've always turned out very well, and even that time it turned out good. I learned from my mom, and I've never had an issue. But I guess this time of the year, a lot of people have much stress from just cooking the turkey itself, and I've always found it to be fairly simple. Once you get it, once you get it all prepped and in the oven, then the hard part's kind of done. So,
I have never had a problem with cooking. I don't. I had a fairly good teacher. Give props to Susie.
Right, there you go. Yay!
But, yeah, but no, some of it, is just is trial and error, and you do a little bit, throughout the year, so that you really don't blow it on special occasions. Right. I would venture to say about 5 years into being an adult, you pretty much have it down pat. And if not, read a recipe book. They're not that difficult.
or go on Google online. I mean, it's all out there. Anything you may want to do is all online. I think my biggest problem is not in the cooking of it. It's in the taste testing everything, to make sure it's just right. So then by the time it's time for dinner, I'm already half stuffed.
I am one of those people. I don't really taste anything I cook.
Oh, Lord.
I really don't taste anything I cook. I just, the things that I cook, I've been cooking, 30 plus years. And, I mean, again, my mother had me, starting dinners and things like that. She was a working mother. I had both of my parents were, and so when we got home from school, that was, part of the prep is she would have a note there saying this is in the refrigerator and this is how you prepare it. And I think I was 10, 11 years old when she started doing that. Oh, wow. And that way, by the time she got home from work, dinner was either done or very close to completion. And so, I mean, again, I have to give her credit, that she started me off early. And, sometimes there were only 4 or 5 of us, and sometimes there were 8 or 9 of us. So it just depended on the dinner time. But, no, I enjoy the big family meals. I enjoy cooking the big family meals. They are exhausting. They're a lot of work. They take a lot of preparation. But when it's all said and done, everything's cleaned up in the kitchen, and you've got all those leftovers in the refrigerator, and you don't have to do it again for a day or two. It is a very, very rewarding and relaxing at that point.
Yeah. Now, if you do all the prep and the cooking itself, does somebody else do the cleanup, or are you involved in that as well, or?
It depends.
I kind of clean as I go. It sounds weird, especially with like bigger stuff, that's going to fill up the dishwasher real quickly. I'll, keep cleaning as I go just to kind of keep the mess down. If you're going to be in there, you might as well just keep going with it and stuff. And I don't know.
Now, I do that if I'm cooking. if I'm cooking, number one, I won't go in and try to cook any meal in a dirty kitchen. It's got to be clean.
Exactly.
I can't function like that. All the dishes have to be done and put away because I need to know where everything is and be able to grab it. I don't like to be one of those that's going in looking for something in the middle of cooking dinner. The other thing is I don't like it to pile up. I don't want a whole counter full of dishes to do.
Right.
That I cannot enjoy my meal because I sit there and I look at, or I'm thinking about the mess in the kitchen, because I'm a little OCD about my house. I mean,
I must be too then. Okay, so yep, I'm the same way.
People don't know, and I always have been, and I get picked on a little bit by my family about it because I am a little OCD about my house. My dad will tell you that he cannot stand to have family dinners at my house because he's not done eating before I'm cleaning up.
But practically snatching the plate out from under him, huh?
I don't care if you don't. I don't care if you eat. Just don't drop nothing on the floor.
See, there you have it. All right. Okay, so I've got a little of that OCD stuff going on too. All right.
I am very anal retentive about keeping my house clean. So no, I do clean as I go along. I don't. I cannot enjoy my meal if I know there's a big mess. Right. I'd rather go clean the big mess and then sit down and enjoy it. So I'm a little weird that way.
No, not really weird. I think that's pretty normal. Well, folks, welcome to our first annual Happy Thanksgiving Day show. We appreciate the ones of you that are joining us tonight. Rubbing your bellies, sitting back, enjoying the fruits of your labors, or somebody's labor anyway. All the good food, no matter what it was. A lot of people eat ham, turkey. I mean, there's just whatever your special thing is for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it and enjoyed as much as you wanted of it.
Well, we have a caller. Hi, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? Happy Thanksgiving.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to y'all and y'all show tonight. This is Steve from Virginia.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
Oh, just dandy. I just got through sampling some fresh deer jerky that we've been curing all night long on the dehydrator. And y'all was talking about cooking and cleaning there, and I got to thinking about race relations, about this melting pot conglomerate of people that we had to come together and work out our differences here. But anyway, I've had a blessed Thanksgiving, and
wonderful.
And I sure have. And I hope everybody on WTF, I believe.
Yes, that's correct.
That's us.
Yes, and I told you I will call in. I knew y'all were doing a special night on Thanksgiving. Want to send out a big shout out to our troops overseas and wish them a happy Thanksgiving. I know it's a lonely time for them people over there to sit down at a table with faces. It's not family, but believe me, they are amongst family, and they're enjoying a good meal. And probably the only hot meal they go and get is that turkey meal. They get it. They usually try to see that's hot. Bless them and all folks serving overseas. I want to get that out. And
thank you. Yes.
And I absolutely want to bless our conservative people out there that's trying to change this world for a better world to live in. I really want to give them a shout out too for their hard work and effort and all fronts. We got many of them going. Okay. And especially here.
Well, thank you so much for calling in, Stephen, and you are absolutely right. We don't want to forget our troops. They are doing the job. You stop and think about it. Nobody really wants to be alone on the holidays. I was speaking with a friend the other day, and I said, well, you looking forward to the holidays? And he says, no, not really. And I went, why? And it's like, my family's so far away and I don't have, anybody, here. I've got my friends, stuff that, I hang out with and people that I work with, but, that's not the same. And I understand the sentiment. But I thought, that's so what are you going to do? And it's like, I'm just going to hang out here at the house. And I thought, man, that's so sad because I've never spent a holiday that I wasn't in the company and fellowshipping with family or friends that just filled that for me.
Yeah, true.
Well, Stephen, thank you for calling in and reminding
Yes,
us
sir.
about
Thank you.
our troops. You have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I hope you're. Hey, I want a package of deer jerky.
I'm telling you what, that sounds good.
Yeah, we just side the jerky, the whole thing out, and put it in the dehydrator and run it through, and it really, I mean, we did a mild sensation on that meat, and then we put the Pistol Pete to it and some cayenne pepper on the other part, and man, it really turned out nice and spicy. So yes, it absolutely was.
Well,
I sampled it; it was excellent.
Well, Stephen, you stick with us. Jose and I'll be sending you our address.
I'm telling you what, you got me drooling over here.
Yeah, we just gave up on the butterballs. They just wasn't good for you. They've been needled up with them hormones and stuff. We decided, no, we're going to stay away from the butterballs.
Well, about 15 years ago, some friends of ours did an Easter dinner, and rather than have ham or turkey or any of the regular, they did a huge smoked deer roast, and I'm going to tell you, they had marinated that thing for like 3 or 4 days, and man, oh man, that thing was scrumptious.
You take out a little red wine and some cranberry sauce or something like that over top of it, I'll absolutely tell you, that's some fine dining.
Yes, sir, it is.
Well, Stephen, we appreciate you calling in, and you have a very happy Thanksgiving, darling.
Okay, y'all do the same, and wish y'all well up that way, and have a good night. And
Thank you, sir.
And a good rest of it. Bye-bye.
Thank you, darling.
Take care. Thank you. Boy, I'll tell you what, we're going to be drooling the whole night with the way this is going. I can see the way this is heading.
I mean to tell you. Hey, guys, if you guys have someone, a special loved one or a special friend or someone in particular that you would like to give a shout-out to on this particular Thanksgiving, our first annual Thanksgiving show, please call us, and we will accommodate the airtime for that. It's 313-462-0068. Jose?
Yes, ma'am. Do you want me to read this first story, B, before we go into the break?
Well, before you do that, I want to touch on something real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, I know this is going to be kind of like a downer for some of us, but not nearly the downer it is for those who that it affects.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, it's that time of year where people who are alone, people, our military, our veterans with PTSD, they have a hard time because it's the holidays.
Sure.
It really does affect them emotionally, and your friend Tony Hogreff, I believe he's a United States Marine Corps veteran.
Yes. Sure
and a really fine guy, very active in this particular cause. But if you are a veteran or you know a veteran suffering from PTSD and you know that they are in emotional crisis or you are a veteran in emotional crisis, please call 1-800-273-TALK. Press 1 for veterans. It takes as much courage and strength to reach out when you know you are struggling as it does to go out on that battlefield. So
maybe
you had
more.
it. Yeah, you had it once. So please, I beg you, pick up the phone and call 1-800-273-TALK and press 1 for veterans.
Yes, and they also have a website. and it is www.suicidepreventionlifeline.org, and it looks like it's a joint venture between Suicide Prevention, this organization, and Department of Veterans Affairs. So folks, reach out. There are people out there that can help you. And I'm just going to read what Tony, because I took it right from his page today and posted it on our Facebook page, and it says, the holidays can be tough on vets. We tend to reflect on brothers who didn't make it home to their families, and we ponder those empty chairs at the Thanksgiving table. If you're struggling, don't wait. Reach out. And that is indeed true. Because I think, when you go over there, despite all the things you're going through, you've got that brotherhood, that camaraderie. You're with other people. But when you get to be by yourself, and that's when that PTSD really starts to affect people and everything else that they're dealing with. It's harder to deal with things alone, even though that's what we tend to do a lot of times, is try to deal with it ourselves, because we're tough. We can handle this, especially guys. But folks, reach out. 1-800-273-TALK, and then press 1 for veterans. It's available for you, and make use of that, please.
Well, we understand, and our military are not the only ones, and our veterans are not the only ones that are suffering at this time of year. Anyone who is alone, we've got many of our elderly listeners that their children have grown up, moved away. Some of their friends are either engaged with their families or are no longer with us, and they don't have that large social network anymore. So reach out to them as well.
Certainly.
Invite them to dinner. If they're going to be alone, invite them to dinner. I can tell you that every holiday, there is at least an ex-wife or an ex-husband at every one of our family functions.
Isn't that something?
Because we don't want them to be alone.
Right.
It's the right thing to do.
Right. I agree. And I wanted to say my first thanks of the evening. And boy, this is going to shock some of you, so I hope you're sitting down. I'm going to send a big thanks out to Barack Hussein Obama, or whatever his name is, because without him, I fear a lot of people would not be woken up as much as they are, and a lot of us wouldn't have found this camaraderie and friendship that we have, like we have. So for better, for worse, I think we can always take good out of bad, and boy, he is bad. But what he's done has, like I said, woken a lot of people up. Not enough yet, but a lot, and brought a lot of us together and realized that we're not alone. And there are others out there that feel like we do, that love this country and are sick of the fundamental transformation. So, that's my big one. I just got to throw that out there before the break, V, because I figured I'd shock some people so they can have a moment or two to compose themselves over the break.
You're absolutely correct. We get lost in our day-to-day outrage and anger, and the day-to-day grind of just getting through what we call life. And we forget that there are things that unify us or that brought us together that may not have been so pleasant, but look at the results. So, the chief resident in the White Mosque is one of those things. I have met many a fine individual, including you, because of his, because of his action. And for that, I'm very thankful. So,
yes, indeed.
Well, guys, we're going to go to break. We'll be back in a moment. If you'd like to call in at 313-462-0068. Again, that's 313-462-0068. And give a shout-out to whoever you want to make sure knows to have a happy Thanksgiving today. We'll be back in a moment.
Yes, we will.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
design of the Ford Escape is clearly intended to grab your eye. Oh, and your foot. Huh, ain't that a kick? The Ford Escape with the foot-activated liftgate. Go open up something interesting. Go further.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Welcome back to WTF Thanksgiving. I'm V. Wright.
And I am Jose Estevez. Welcome back, folks. And hey, V.
Yes, darling.
Does this mean after this show and for the next, 3 to 4 weeks, I can start singing Feliz blah 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 or whatever, however you say that?
Feliz Navidad.
Blah, blah, blah.
Feliz Navidad. And you
There you
celebrate Feliz Navidad.
Well, of course. I get lots of free stuff, guns and stuff from Senors Obama and Holder.
And you're fixing to get free trains.
And free green trains and free health care and free Social Security.
And you're going to get American jobs.
I am so thankful.
Oh, you should be. You should be, senor.
Hey, V, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Mike over in Kentucky. Folks, he called in on the break. He didn't want to go on the air, but he just called to wish me a happy Thanksgiving, and he's been with me through a lot, and I just appreciate the heck out of you, Mike, and I just want to let you know. So I'm giving you a shout out over there in Kentucky with your pup, Junie, and man, I'm telling you what, it gives me chills. Thanks for doing that, man. I appreciate that very much, and I hope you and your father are doing well as well. And thanks for listening in tonight. And yeah, thank you very much. I'm thankful for you as well. You got a great sense of humor, and you never fail to brighten my day. So thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you.
Well, over the last couple of days, we've been asking everyone to send us anything that they think would be appropriate, or a story that they had to tell, or anything like that in regards to Thanksgiving. And we have been fortunate in that people have taken us up on our offer. In addition to taking us up on that offer, if you guys have a shout out for a military member, if you have a husband, a wife, a brother, sister, niece, nephew, family member that you would like to give a shout out to in our military, please call in at 313-462-0068. Quite often worldwide, they will listen to us on our live broadcast, and if they do not, they do tune into our recast, so they do get an opportunity to hear that. So, yes. I cannot encourage you enough. We are global. We have a very high number of military personnel around the globe who listen to our show, and we are very thankful to them for that. So
Yes,
if you have a particular member that you would like to give a shout out to, please, call in and let's get it to them. So again, that number's 313-462-0068. So some of the things that people have sent to us are along the lines of, Jose, you have one, and we each have quite a few here, and we're just going to filter through some of them, and we hope you guys enjoy them as much as we have.
Yes. Well, you want me to go ahead with this first one, V, that we've talked about?
Sure.
Folks, this is rather lengthy. This is an actual letter. It's a letter home, and it was sent on September 11, 2007. By a person named Grant. We have Grant's permission to share it with you, and it's entitled "Bury My Heart in America," and I'm just going to read it verbatim. And like I said, it's rather lengthy, so bear with me. I'll do my best here. Dear family, I wanted to take this opportunity to let everyone know of an experience I had here that really affected me. I have wondered over the last 7 months of my deployment if this war can be won militarily, or if there is any hope that this country can embrace a democratic government. In my eyes, the people seem more intent on themselves and their contempt for each other than making things work here. With the things I have seen, experiences, and watching friends die, I kind of believe that our endeavor here is pointless. I did not believe that there was a single Iraqi in this country that really cared if the violence stopped, or that there were any that did not want to kill every American they see. Then I had something happen that gave me some hope. About a month ago, an Iraqi came to my aid station. He is one of the Iraqis that works with us as an interpreter. His name is Sam, and he is 20 years old. He came to my aid station with a severely broken and lacerated finger after it was shut in the 300-pound door of an armored vehicle. I spent about 2 hours cleaning his finger and suturing it, all the while making small talk. He continually told me how he wanted to come to America and join our army so he could come back and do more for Iraq. He told me of how he loved Americans and that all he wants is to become one. I listened and talked with him until I was finished with my procedure and wished him well, and in my mind dismissed most of what he said as just words and never thought much else of it. On September 9th, it came across the radio that an explosion had hit one of our vehicles, and we had 1 soldier killed, 2 wounded, as well as the interpreter that was with them. I put my gear on and went with the squadron commander to the hospital to check on our injured men. It was quite a gruesome sight. First I saw my medic, who had minor wounds, then went to the young man who had served as the gunner. He had received blast wounds to the leg which had torn away a majority of his outer thigh. I then went to view the body of our fallen brother who died due to a head injury. We helped console the other members of the platoon, as this was the second soldier that they had lost in 5 days. Overwhelmed by the experience, we walked in to see the interpreter, which turned out to be Sam. Sam had suffered severe lacerations to the head, resulting in over 40 sutures and staples. He had a small skull fracture and a small brain hemorrhage. Despite his severe injuries, he would only ask how the others were doing. He was covered in blood and in extreme pain and just wanted to be sure that the soldiers he had been with were okay. Once satisfied they would be taken care of, he took my commander's hand and said, "If I die, please take my heart to America and bury it there." We assured him that his injuries were not mortal and left him in the care of doctors at the hospital and told him we would be back with him the next day. We would be back the next day to see him. The next morning, I received a call from the hospital telling me that Sam was going to be released to an Iraqi hospital, but that he did not want to go. He feared that because of his ethnic background, he would be denied treatment and sent away. I told him I would call back in a few minutes and we would come and get him and continue his care at my aid station. After 20 minutes of talking to the commander and making arrangements, I called the hospital and told them we would be there shortly to pick him up when they informed me that they had already released him and had given him money to get to the Iraqi hospital. Needless to say, we were a little upset. We began searching the area around the hospital and could not locate Sam. We were worried that he would fall into the wrong hands, as any Iraqi that works with the Americans are often killed because they are considered to be aiding the enemy. 3 hours later, we got a call from the gate to our base that Sam was there. He had walked from the hospital to our base about 7 miles in flip-flops and pajamas, despite the fairly significant injuries. My medics brought him to the aid station. As we laid him on the bed, I looked at him and said, "You are a pretty tough guy." He grabbed my hand and looked at me in the eyes and said, I knew if I got here you would take care of me, Sergeant. Tears filled the corner of my eyes as I replied, "You bet I will." He then said, "I had to get back here for 2 reasons. First, the memorial service for Johnson, who was the soldier we had lost a few days prior, is tonight, and I cannot miss that. We also have an important mission tomorrow, and they need me." I informed him that he would make it to the service, but would not be going on patrol anytime soon. He argued for a short time, then agreed that it would be in his best interest to relax for a couple of weeks before going outside the wire, but still insisted his guys, in parentheses, the U.S. soldiers from his platoon, needed him. Later that night, I sat 2 rows behind Sam as we paid tribute to our fallen brother and watched as he mourned and cried with the rest of us. I realized he is as committed as the rest of us and considered a brother to us. I just got done rechecking his wounds and talking with him. He still insists on going back out with the guys because they need him. He talked about his dreams of living in California someday. I have to say, I admire this guy. He displays courage like no other Iraqi I have seen, and in some ways made me think again of my views. Despite what you see and hear on the news, there are Iraqis like Sam that are dedicated to seeing their country succeed. There may not be many, but some sacrifice alongside us with a simple dream of their country being better off, or like Sam, of being an American citizen. It gives me some hope that things will eventually work out here, and that someday Sam will be an American citizen because he has earned that right. And then he goes on to say, gratitude and thanksgiving. Gratitude is a noble quality requiring humility and a recognition for blessings one possesses. Many citizens show it while others seek only the benefits from other countrymen. Men and women who in private sacrifice and like soldiers possess it to the point of costing everything. Sam carried it in his heart. All he longed for was just one shot at being part of something really big. America, freedom, the promised land. For all those who want to be like Europeans, modeled after failed ideologies of socialism and their tyrants, or whose self-loathing causes them to detest their own country, consider Sam, a young man whose greatest aspiration is to become an American at whatever cost, even if it means only his heart may someday be part of its soil.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
You know, when our military are in these battle situations, and they are surrounded by for all they know, the enemy. I mean, look at the situations where someone has come in, and been nice, or seemed like they were on board, only to turn around and take shots at them, or with the intentions of doing them damage. To come across someone like that, with such adoration and love for this country. I mean, guys, we forget that we're the American dream. As messed up as our country is right now, it is still better than any other country out there.
Amen.
And with all its flaws and all the problems that we have to fix with our representatives in Washington, D.C., and all the battles we have coming to hold on to our republic. And we see this with the invaders in our southern border. And yes, are we hard on them? Absolutely we are, because of the way that they are going about it. But they do it because they want to live the American dream. Unfortunately, the American dream that they've been sold is one of freebies and gimme-dats. But yes. There are some of those that will come here and be productive members of our society and contribute. Unfortunately, as that letter pointed out, we have far too many that have some glorified idea in our minds of what it is to be European. They've placed that European format on a platform of grandeur, and yet when you go to those countries, as much as they might have a distaste for the arrogant American, they all want what we have.
That's true. Very true.
The only people that really don't want what we have are the Islamists, and let's face it, that's the reason that they still think the globe is flat. and have contributed absolutely nothing to society in general throughout their history. You can say a lot of things about the United States of America, but we have to give it its kudos. Even those that came here as slaves and were freed slaves, look at what some of them did. I mean, we have stoplights because of a former slave, a black man. Look at the things that have been contributed by black society, and the only ones that have nothing to contribute to our society are Islamics.
That's a good point.
But the rest of the world desires to be us, desires to be like us. I recall, and many of you do too. Some of you may be too young to remember, but I remember before when there was an East and West Germany, and I remember when there was a USSR, and I remember when Yugoslavia was part of USSR, and so was Czechoslovakia and the Ukraine and all of these other countries that fought so diligently, lost many of lives to exert their freedom and be in charge of their own destiny, and they still have not gotten where we are as far as freedom, but it is a constant aspiration for them.
Yeah.
So,
you mean the Soviet Union?
Yes.
The Reds, the commies,
exactly.
The Soviets, yeah.
Exactly. And, you look down at Cuba and all the people that, will get on any kind of raft, inner tube, any kind of canoe and make that journey. And, you think it's really not that far. But the Gulf Stream wreaks havoc.
Telling you what, even 90 miles from Cuba.
I mean, it is danger, yet those people brave that because they desire what we too often take for granted. And guys, as messed up as we are, we need to be thankful for what we have. And we do have a fine country. It might be in a state of concern. It might be a state of even panic for some, but we've still got the best deal on the globe.
Well, I think that's why so many of us are so outspoken about it and so concerned to get so angry, because we do love it, and we hate to see the fundamental transformation into something that we don't recognize, or that we recognize is not something that we want, because we've seen it happen in other countries, and we've seen what the end results of that are. For example, like you said, the Soviet Union and all these different countries, and we don't want that. We want our constitutional republic, low taxes, ideas like being self-sufficient, not having this monster bureaucracy, federal government that's involved in every aspect of our lives, the whole 1984 thing, Big Brother is watching you. We don't want that, and we see it coming very quickly the last 6 years. It's really accelerated, and certainly it's been happening for longer than that, but really been accelerated. And, of course, they come out in the open calling it fundamental transformation, and we don't want that. And I think that's why so many people do get so passionately upset and angry. And just, what do we do? Because it doesn't seem like we can even slow it down, much less stop it. That's just my opinion on the whole thing.
Well, we have to move forward with offering our resistance and, exerting our outrage. And the reason for it is if we fail to, then we will lose what the rest of the world desires, and we have it in our hands.
And we do, and we don't want to let it slip through our grasp.
But tonight, it's about being thankful. And,
Yes.
we still must be thankful that we still reside and we still have and are citizens of the greatest nation on this earth. With all its warts and all its faults.
I still would rather be nowhere else, and I've lived overseas. I'd rather be nowhere else than here.
Well, guys, I've got, this was sent to me. It's called A Military Spouse's Thanksgiving Eve Prayer.
Oh, there we go.
And it's rather lengthy as well, but I'm going to give it a shot. It says, "Now I lay me down to pray that I'll survive Thanksgiving Day, that the special dinner I agreed to host won't make me a laughing stock on post. That as the day gets on, I'll keep my sanity and have no outburst of profanity. That our turkey overnight will thoroughly thaw so that stuffing the bird won't require a hacksaw. That the kids will get along, maybe even play a game instead of belly aching that the Macy's Day Parade is so lame.
This is good.
That my husband will assist when the moment is opportune and not disappear with his shipmates to drink beer before noon. That base neighbors will play football so the guys feel athletic, but no one will get tackled and require a paramedic.
Yes.
That the turkey will fry to a nice golden brown without a conflagration that burns the base down. That the beans will steam, the potatoes will boil, and the gravy won't resemble a batch of crude oil. That our friends won't mind if the cranberries are canned, and when the smoke detector goes off, they'll all understand.
It's inevitable.
That everyone will gather at our table with haste before the mashed potatoes become wallpaper paste. That the kids will remember to put napkins on laps, chew with their mouths closed, and not feed the dog scraps. That no one will giggle when we all say the blessing, and my husband won't grimace at the neighbor's vegan dressing. That while carving the turkey, a wishbone will find, and this reminds me of a story someone else said just a little bit, and not the sack of giblets that got left behind.
Guilty as charged. I've done it once.
That dinner conversation will be without drama, and no one will bring up religion or speak of Obama.
Oh, amen.
That around our table stories will be told about experiences we've had, both young and old. About patriotism, honor, joy, and strife. About the laughter, wisdom, and strength in military life. That sharing our stories will help us to see that our sacrifices make America the home of the free. And before we get too sentimental with tears in our eyes, someone will remind us that we're waiting for pie. That dessert won't send me on a guilt trip, because even store-bought pie tastes good with Cool Whip. That after dinner, everyone will help clear the leftover grub, so I'm not left with dishes by myself to scrub. That while watching football, my husband will squelch his manly urges to itch, scratch, and belch.
Oh. Yeah.
And if the quarterback... Excuse me, we're on air. Hold on for just one moment. And if the quarterback fumbles, he'll turn a blind eye rather than throw the remote and let expletives fly. That our friends won't linger because they've had too much booze, or lay on our couch and take a long, long, long snooze. Gathering with friends was surely overdue, but they'll politely take the cue and bid us adieu. That they'll leave our house with just coats and umbrellas and not any symptoms of acute salmonella.
Oh, yep.
That we'll have a quiet moment to let tryptophan digest,
tryptophan? Yep,
tryptophan digest, and agree that the day was one of the best. And if we happen to go for round 2 of the pie, then we'll have Pepto-Bismol in our medical supply. Now, as I lay my head down to rest, I pray that Thanksgiving Day will be blessed without stress. And I just thought that was great.
It is perfect. It is. And it gets the whole military thing in there, too.
I mean, I just thought that was great. And that was the Thanksgiving Eve military spouse's prayer.
Perfect.
We have a caller. Caller, what is your name? Where are you calling from? And happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, I'm on air?
Yes, you are.
This is Malachi again.
Hey, buddy.
I just want to get that.
Where are you calling from?
I want to get that number again. If you could, where you call the vets who are by themselves or loan.
Yes, let's do that right now.
Absolutely. That number is 1-800-273-TALK, TALK, and press 1 for veterans. And
okay, I'll go ahead. I'm sorry.
And their website is www.suicidepreventionlifeline.org.
Okay, great. I'm going to give a call and see what I can do to maybe possibly cheer one up. And again, I just want to say, Jose, thanks again for being a great friend. You really helped my dad out quite a bit through the last couple of years. Can't give you enough thanks, brother.
You are more than welcome.
Well, I just realized who you were. So, hello there, Mike. It took a moment for me to get that, but I just realized who you are. Oh, my goodness.
There you go.
Well, I think it's great that you're going to call in and see if you can help anyone. Yep. I think that's marvelous, guys. You know, we need more people out there doing that.
For sure.
Yeah, I didn't know maybe you might want to post that on your WTF Facebook page too for others who might
right now and on my own page, and I'll post it on V's. We'll get it all over the place.
Yeah, we'll cool. Put it everbeing We will.
Yes, sir. We will.
Everywhere.
It's a great idea. Thanks for.
I post on mine, but since everyone has me blocked and everything for being typical me.
That's all right.
Okay, well I'm gonna let you get going. Y'all doing a great show. God bless.
You too, darling. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
It did. It just all of a sudden it just clicked with me who that was, and I was like, "Oh my God, I've spoken with him. I've talked to him." Oh goodness. You know, it's funny because I mean, that's just like our first caller. It was like you didn't recognize that at first, but the first time I ever spoke to you, I was on the phone with that caller.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. The first time ever, but it's funny how these people are supporting us, and guys, we appreciate the support. Our military guys we are so thankful to you, all of our social network friends, all of our listeners, all the CPR Worldwide Media.com listeners that have gotten on board with us. We are so thankful. Y'all have made our show such a success in a very short period of time, and we could not be where we're at without you. And we appreciate that y'all get out there and basically do our marketing and advertising for us, because everything that we have is by word of mouth. So that comes from you guys, and we've watched our numbers rise tremendously.
Yes, we are very thankful for you guys and gals and military, everyone out there.
Well, I mean, you stop and think, it was only, not even 2 months ago that we started this show. And yeah, I mean, our numbers for our format will compete with any terrestrial radio station in any city that has a population of 200,000 plus.
Right. We had folks. We found out we had on. We got to take a break too, but we found out on Veterans Day, which we were very proud of that show with the 5 gentlemen we had on. We hit 89 countries that night with that show. I think that was between the original and the recast. 89 countries. That's just simply amazing.
Yeah. I mean, we had people in, in the Mideast. We had people in the Ukraine. We had people in Russia.
All over the world.
All over the world listening to our show.
And it was just for the benefit of those veterans and to their honor, to honor them. And that's just simply amazing that we can have that kind of an impact out there. Just simply amazes me.
Well, we're very blessed because we would not be able to do that without the backing of CPR. They have been phenomenal. Right. Without the backing of Ford Motor Company, Universal Studios, Citizens United, Citigroup, and all of you guys.
Yes, definitely. So thank you. We're thankful for you as we go into this next break. Thankful for all of you.
Guys, we'll be back in a moment.
Yes, we will.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
The most amazing thing about the Ford Fusion isn't the way it looks. The most amazing thing is the way it sees. With blind spot technology, a lane keeping system, and a standard rear view camera, the Fusion is ready for whatever comes your way. Go prepared. Go further.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Well, welcome back, guys. WTF. It's the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show, Thanksgiving, and our first annual Thanksgiving. We look forward to many to come. I'm V. Wright.
I'm Jose, and yes, welcome to our first annual Thanksgiving show 2014, folks. Less than a month to go to Christmas. If that doesn't sober you up, nothing will. A month from now, folks, you'll have brought all the stuff back that you didn't want or that you got regifted anyway. And be a few days away from New Year's. Holy smokes, hard to believe it's going to fly by. But tonight we're concentrating on being thankful. And I wanted to jump right into a small little story about Thanksgiving. This one's much shorter than the first one I did, but let's roll with that one. You okay with that, V?
I sure am.
Okay. Thanksgiving Day was near. The first grade teacher gave her class a fun assignment to draw a picture of something for which they were thankful. Most of the class might be considered economically disadvantaged, but still many would celebrate the holiday with turkey and other traditional goodies of the season. These, the teacher thought, would be the subjects of most of her students' art, and they were. But Douglas made a different kind of picture. Douglas was a different kind of boy. He was the teacher's true child of misery, frail and unhappy. As other children played at recess, Douglas was likely to stand close by her side. One could only guess at the pain Douglas felt behind those sad eyes. Yes, his picture was different. When asked to draw a picture of something for which he was thankful, he drew a hand. Nothing else. Just an empty hand. His abstract image captured the imagination of his peers. Whose hand could it be? One child guessed it was the hand of a farmer because farmers raise turkeys. Another suggested a police officer because the police protect and care for people. Still others guessed it was the hand of God, for God feeds us. And so the discussion went until the teacher almost forgot the young artist himself. When the children had gone on to other assignments, she paused at Douglas's desk, bent down, and asked him whose hand it was. The little boy looked away and murmured, "It's yours, teacher." She recalled the times she had taken his hand and walked with him here or there, as she had the other students. Or how often had she said, "Take my hand, Douglas, we'll go outside." Or, "Let me show you how to hold your pencil." Or, "Let's do this together." Douglas was most thankful for his teacher's hand. Brushing aside a tear, she went on with her work. Wow.
Wow.
Well,
there are a lot of children in this country that are just like that child.
Mm-hmm.
It's the small things. That's just like our children. We buy our children all of these games and cell phones and, stereo systems, iPads, iPods, computers, all of these things. And what do they really want? What do you glean the biggest smiles from them from? It's for the time that you spend with them doing something that they enjoy.
Yes.
Whether that's reading a book or going for a bike ride or swinging at the park, going to a movie. Today I have a rather large family. There are many of us, and as I said earlier, it is, there's never a family function where an ex is not invited. Today was my dad's ex-wife. On many occasions, my ex-husband and his wife and their child will attend our family functions. Just the way we roll. I know a lot of people don't get it, but,
That's very cool.
Separation or divorce does not mean either one is a bad person all the time.
Very good point.
But the civility is there, and quite honestly, we enjoy each other's company. But today, when I got out of my vehicle, the first thing that happened was I saw the door fly open, and here comes my 2-year-old nephew, and my 6-year-old niece, and my 10-year-old nephew, and my 12-year-old niece, and they come like linebackers for some major football team, just to give love and hugs and see if they can help. And that's just the biggest joy. And to sit there with them and just talk about the day and what they've been up to, and they're just so joyful that you care enough about them to listen to what they have to say and actually make them feel like it's important. And too often we blow our kids off as the things that they're going through or the things that they're proud of. Oh, well, that's just kid stuff. But to them, it's major hurdles deserving of recognition. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's all it takes.
That's well said. Well said. And like you said, it's not all about spending money on them. It's about spending time with them and getting down to their level. I know my youngest daughter, never happier than we're laying together, under a blanket watching Peanuts or something. She likes the Three Stooges. God bless America. My youngest loves the Three Stooges. Now, I could probably get in trouble for saying that she watches the Three Stooges, because I'm sure they're considered, with all the hitting going on and all the different stuff, I'm sure, they're probably banned in schools and stuff, but she loves the Three Stooges and she actually gets it. But, she just loves doing stuff like that and just hanging out or, going somewhere with Daddy to the store or something like that. And
she is a daddy's baby now. And she's a cutie pie. Oh, my goodness.
She's also a fiercely independent spirit, which we'll see how that works out.
Well, you can see them, she's one of those that you can see the mischievousness behind the eyes.
Oh, yes. And it is there.
But that's not a bad thing to have an independent spirit. It's not a bad thing to go against the grain. Mm-hmm. It can be a very testing and trying time for a parent. But as adults, both of my children are grown, and I have grandchildren now, and my youngest daughter is, oh my gosh, fiercely independent. And about as stubborn as they come. But she has a heart as big as the sky.
And that's what matters.
And she is fiercely loyal. Mm-hmm. And a lot of qualities there that, as a parent, you sit back and you realize that they've grown up and that you actually like the child that you raised. How rewarding is that?
Right.
Even with their little faults and things that, you don't necessarily agree with the way that they handle things. It's okay.
Right.
But,
that's a good point.
Just more things to be thankful for.
Yes, it is.
Because
we have so much to be thankful for.
Well, I can promise you, spending time with your children, spending time with your grandchildren, I can promise you they are thankful for it. They may not know how to express it, but they are.
Right.
Anyway, we've been going along the lines of some of the submissions you guys have provided for us, and I'm fixing to get to one. Before I do that, I want to remind you, if you have anyone nationwide, in the military, not in the military, it doesn't matter, that you would like to give a shout out to, please give us a call at 313-462-0068 and give that person a shout out. There you go. I promise you they will appreciate it. They will be thankful for it. This is called The Greatest Thanksgiving, and this is from a woman's perspective. It says, are you going grocery shopping today? My husband Roy asked when I picked up the telephone. I planned to, I answered. Thanksgiving was only a couple of days away. Everyone in our family would be coming to our house. My funds were limited, therefore my box of coupons awaited me in the car. I knew I had to be creative in my shopping that day. I had to stretch every dollar. For a few seconds, Roy sat silently on the other end of the line. "Why do you ask?" I uttered, fearing what he might say. "Well, there's a family with a half-dozen kids that will not have anything to eat for Thanksgiving. The little one is only 5 years old." "So what are you saying?" I whispered. "Well, while you're at the store, could you possibly buy something for them?" Roy's words echoed in my heart. Groceries. A 5-year-old. 8 in the family. My head began to spin thinking about the $50 I had reserved for our family's Thanksgiving dinner. In the back of my mind, I counted the hungry guests who would be coming to our house for dinner. I put my head down on my desk, already feeling defeated. There's no possible way, I thought, but the compassion I heard in my husband's voice struck a nerve inside of me. "Sure," I replied, "but only if God helps." "Thanks, sweetheart," Roy said. "Just do what you can." He then hung up the telephone. I finished my work and prayed all the way to the nearest grocery store. I entered the parking lot and I noticed a big sign in the grocery store window: "Turkeys, 29 cents a pound." "This is the place, Lord." I grabbed my box of coupons, went inside, secured 2 buggies, and headed for the frozen foods. The turkeys were indeed on sale, but I discovered one big problem. When I read the sign posted on the freezer door, my heart sank. Limit 1. "But I need 2, I uttered to myself. I decided to find the manager and I explained the problem, and he allowed for an exception. After tossing a turkey in each buggy, I began my shopping fury. It was amazing how many buy one, get one free items were being featured that day. The first item went into one buggy, the free item went into the other. In addition, I had all the right coupons to get exactly what both families needed for a hearty Thanksgiving dinner. I proceeded to the register and held my breath while the cashier rang up my groceries. To my surprise, I had enough money. I was even able to purchase a package of cookies for the 5-year-old who had stolen my heart even though I had never met her. Later that afternoon, Roy and I made a special delivery to a home filled with children of all ages. I will never forget the smiles on the 6 kids' faces as they made several trips from my car carrying numerous bags of groceries inside. This event reminded me of the story. Even though he only had a few loaves and fish, Jesus multiplied them and fed 5,000 people. And to top it off, there was food left over. I wondered if God was doing the same thing that day. By far, that was the greatest Thanksgiving day of my life. My entire family shared a hearty meal with us. We had plenty to eat. We even had enough food left over for the evening meal. That afternoon, when I had time to think about what had happened, I imagined a home not far from where we lived. There was a mother and a father and 6 children sitting around a kitchen table, laughing and rejoicing. They enjoyed the same meal that our family had shared together that day. Then I realized that miracles happen when we step out in faith and into God. For with us some things are impossible, but with God all things are possible.
Amen. Amen to that. Wow.
But,
Yeah. How do you follow that up?
Yeah, how do you indeed? I just thought when I read that, I was like, yeah, that one definitely has to go on the show tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We too often, when we need help, we feel despair rather than seeking help, for asking for it. And when we do, great things do happen. They really do. We may not always get the answer that we want, because sometimes God says no. But if you stop and think about it, sometimes that's a good thing, because I can remember being a teenager and being in love for the first time.
Oh, no.
Oh, my heart was broken. Oh, Lord, please fix it. This is who I want to marry. All that good stuff. And I'm going to tell you, thank God, God says no.
Yeah. I bet.
I ran into him a few years back.
Hopefully he's not listening in.
I don't care. I doubt very seriously he is. I don't think he has the mentality or the intellect to follow our show.
Oh, boy. And with that.
But he was a really good skater.
Oh, there we go. Like roller skates, or is that what you're talking about?
Roller skates. Friday, Saturday night at the rink. Absolutely.
And not the inline skates, right? You're talking about the old school roller skates, like the roller-rama or whatever they used to call them.
4 wheels. Absolutely.
The little bumpers on the front of them and stuff like that.
That's correct.
Boy, I've seen those in pictures. Sorry.
You don't like this show much, do you?
That sound of when she didn't respond for a few seconds. Oh boy, that's awesome.
Oh goodness.
Oh, that's good. Good stuff.
Oh, we do have a great time on the show, and it helps that Jose and I are friends, and could you imagine if I had a Democrat? I actually thought about that. I honestly did think about that when I was thinking about the concept. But I just knew that person would not survive.
No, not for long. And I couldn't even fake trying to be that. So trying to be like a low, no info voter Democrat. Oh boy, that'd be hard. That'd be tough.
Well, I'm glad to have you, and I'm thankful that you said yes, because I remember when we first had this conversation, it was like, I don't know if I can do this, and I think you're doing a fabulous job.
Well, thanks. I still have every night. I get the butterflies, and I tell you, too, I said I'm getting that nervous feeling, and I hope it never goes away, because I think it makes me do even better. It's kind of like, going into the big game or something. I've never played sports, but I've got to imagine it's something like that. And I hope I never lose that, because I think it means that I'm, really into it, and I want to do well, and hopefully, the people that are judging me, all of our listeners, are, agree with that, and I believe they do. And thank you for the opportunity to do this. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I'm feeling more and more comfortable with it. And it's a lot of work, folks, because we work full-time jobs, families and stuff, and you have to know so much. And we are unscripted, so we're working off the top of our heads. All that stuff has to be floating around in our heads, and we have to be able to extract it at any given moment, because the conversation ebbs and flows and goes from one thing to another, and we are unscripted, and
I have to give you I have to give you a lot of credit, because thoughts bounce around in my head like a BB in a boxcar, in all honesty, and the fact that you could follow it and roll with it, hey, I've got to give you props.
Well, thank you. Mine do too, though. I mean, I have so many random things go through, and sometimes it comes out, and you kind of notice that it's like, oh boy, that was, and I've got to be careful what we say too, of course, being on the radio, and someday we want to be syndicated and all that, so we got to be somewhat careful. And we don't want to be bawdy like a Howard Stern type thing either. Be mindful of our listeners, so we can be kind of a family-friendly show, such as it is. So yeah, it's good. I love it, and I'm thankful for the opportunity, and I'm hoping that our listeners, who are our customers, are very satisfied with the final product. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And as you said, we're looking long term. And with you guys' help out there, that's what we're looking to do is build something to the point that our reach is beyond, and that folks find it enjoyable enough that we unify closer with a wider hand.
Right. And I think the humor is a great part of it, because even though we get so frustrated, we've got to be able to laugh. And I find in my daily life, if you can do it appropriately, given the circumstances, that's the best tension breaker that there is, and also being able to bring people together and open those lines of communication. If you can get that, something common ground that we agree on and that we can laugh about. And I've got a self-deprecating sense of humor, so I can laugh at myself, and a lot of people can't figure that out and don't understand that, but it just seems to work. You can't take everything so seriously. What's the old saying? Don't take life so seriously. You're never going to get out alive, and there's some truth to that. So, I think the laughter's good, and we've got to make light of things, and hopefully we're not totally ripping on people, except a couple. There's a big turkey up in the White House. We make a lot of fun of him. He's fair game.
There's a whole flock in D.C.
Well, and this is true. Very true.
Somebody opened up a poultry farm there.
I'm telling you what. and do you know, V, that too, I don't know how much you know, but fowl.
I don't know much.
Fowl, like turkeys and stuff, they're not the smartest animals. They have a very small sized brain, so maybe there's some comparisons there too, some parallels there too.
Well, the only thing I can say about most turkeys is they are, the ones we have here are American. I'm just saying.
Good point. Yeah, good point.
I can't say that for most of those in D.C., for some in D.C. anyway.
Yeah, good point.
We are very blessed to have you guys, and we do appreciate you guys, and I do, I personally, not so much Jose, but I get extremely passionate. I don't do real well with the filter thing, and I think mine broke at birth or something. That's a genetic mutation that was removed or something like that. And the fact that you guys tolerate some of the things I say, I have no idea why you do, but I do appreciate it. And I am thankful that you guys can overlook my insanity at times.
Well, I think we all have a touch of that, especially the last 6 years. And God willing, we're all going to get through it. And like I said, I gave him credit at the top of last hour. Barack Hussein Obama, folks, thankful for him, because he's bringing us together, and he's exposing so much that so many weren't aware of, and he's really brought a lot of people, open their eyes, and unfortunately not near enough yet, but boy, with the people that I've met and that I interact with are very passionate, and that's what it's going to take, is something like that, and the more we can bring aboard, the better. But, the passion's important. And like I said, he's opened the eyes of a lot of people, just like Gruber. I'm thankful for Gruber. He's saying things that we kind of knew, but boy, he's putting it all right out there in the open. And for whatever reason, hopefully we can use it against them at some point, with Obamacare and with everything else. So we've got to take a break. We're going to have a half hour left, folks. If you want to call in, it'll be your chance. Tell us about your meal or whatever you want. I'm still drooling over the deer jerky down there in West Virginia. But our number, as always, is 313-462-0068, 313-462-0068. And when we come back, we have a few more stories to close out the show. And that'll be it for the week for us. So thanks for being with us, and we will be back shortly.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
not about how many miles you can get out of the C-Max Hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Welcome back, guys. It's WTF, the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show. I'm V. Wright, and it's Thanksgiving, and I'm here with
Jose Estevez.
my partner in crime.
Ah, yes, true. Yeah.
Hey, given the trouble that the trouble that I get into, I kind of count on you to save me from it for some time. So
nice.
I appreciate it.
Nobody knows the trouble. Okay, I'll stop singing now.
No,
Nobody
people have no idea. See, I mean, you know, we're friends beyond the radio station, and so people don't know how outlandish I can get sometimes. Like I said, my filter's broken.
Well, when they see your escapades next year at the mosque over in Dearbornistan, then they'll gain a better understanding.
Well, when they understand that won't be my first trip there.
No, yeah.
I know. When you found out I had gone, you almost flipped.
Yeah, I was like, oh no. I was surprised I was hearing from you, and it wasn't a call for bail money or something like that. Because I wasn't really relishing a trip over to Dearbornistan for any reason. But
you would have come. You would not have left me sit.
Oh boy. Hey, we've got another story, folks. Since we've only got less than a half hour left, I'm going to withhold the name, but this was sent to V, and here I'll just let the words speak for themselves. One of the things I truly miss about the military is how they celebrate the holiday season. It really didn't matter if I was with my biological family or with my Army brothers and sisters. One way or another, we were going to spend it as a family. I fondly look back at Thanksgiving in particular as some of the greatest family experiences and celebrations I have participated in. As a child growing up and even into my own professional career, just about every Thanksgiving dinner was consumed in the chow hall. The normally dull and drab cafeteria was transformed into a glorious banquet hall, tastefully decorated in fall colors with beautiful displays of fruits, breads, and desserts that were crafted with the careful precision of a high-caliber restaurant. I can recollect the inviting smells of deliciousness swirling throughout the air, and was actually given the opportunity to mull over my dinner options without someone yelling at me to hurry and make my mind up. This was only one of a few times in the year where I was not barked at by a private for requesting more than one serving of meat and starch, and was actually given the opportunity to load up my plate to my heart's content. I vividly remember seeing the officers and senior NCOs in their dress blues, all of their ribbons and awards neatly aligned, wearing the unpopular but fitting bus driver's hat, and having the confident appearance of a leader. Each one greeted every soldier and family member as if they were aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters, with a handshake and a smile, for they knew, for most of the soldiers there, they were the only family they had to celebrate the holidays with. These leaders cherished this thought of our own pseudo-family as everyone slowly made their way down the serving line. As my career in the Army progressed, I soon found myself in the exact same positions as those NCOs I watched as a child. It was my turn to don my dress blues, ensure that every little detail was exact, and to stand proud and greet everyone with a smile as they passed before me. As a leader, I could feel the gratitude of each soldier and family member as I looked and thanked them for coming, while they enjoyed the multitude of deliciousness I had the humble opportunity to serve them. It was Thanksgiving that I set aside my mantra of the hard-charging NCO, whose primary responsibility was to make sure my boys were ready to go to war, to the loving parent, making sure they knew just how much I cared for them and wanted to make sure they had what they needed as far as emotional support. Those days are long gone, but the memories are still there and very strong. For some reason, I still have my blues put together, hanging neatly in the closet. For what reason, I don't know, but they are. I miss the bond that we had as soldiers, quite frankly. It just cannot be replicated. So instead of polishing brass and aligning ribbons this year, as I have done many times in the past, I will instead close with a simple thank you to the men and women of this great country's military serving away from home. Even though you may not be with your real family, you are with a family nonetheless, and you should embrace it. It will not last forever. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll withhold the name.
Wow.
Wow. Goosebumps reading that.
Well, I have one to follow that will also will mirror that feeling. I read this, and in all honesty, I really took a great pause, and I was very touched, and maybe you guys will be too. This is coming from a World War II veteran, and it says, "In the winter of 1944, during World War II, I was in France, a platoon sergeant in the Yankee Division under General Patton. About mid-December, I received a letter from my mother back in the States. 'Can you remember,' she asked, 'where you were Thanksgiving Day?' Could I remember? How could I forget the odd thing that happened that day? At dawn, I was sent to check out a crossroads where an enemy strong point was suspected. Normally, I would have had my men fan out so that they could move with the cover of the trees. But just before we started out that Thanksgiving morning, I stopped. I stood stark still, arguing with myself about what I should do. Then, going strictly against the book, I walked my men right down the middle of a road in an exposed column. No one fired at us. There was no evidence of the enemy. We found the crossroads unoccupied and turned to walk back. There on the back side of the trees, where only the German soldiers would have seen, were signs cautioning men. The woods were mined. We could have been blown to bits." Mother's letter continued. She told me how she awakened after midnight on Thanksgiving Eve, when it would have been daylight in France. "I had a strong feeling that you were in great danger," she wrote. "When I opened my Bible, a phrase in 2 Chronicles 20:17 gleamed on the page. 'Stand ye still and see the salvation of the Lord with you.' Stand ye still, stark still." And I was just blown away when I read that.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
These things happen with our military, and of course, we reflect on our military a lot on this show. I have primarily focused on our military tonight, primarily because so many of them are not having fellowship with friends and family. I mean, they have their military family, but you and I both know we can be with the best friends in the world, but sometimes, there are days where you just want to be with your parents, with your siblings, with your children. And so many of our military are not, able to sit at the table and enjoy the feast displayed before me today in the same fashion that I did. And so, I had that in my mind all day. And so if I overdo it a little bit with our military, you have to understand where my mindset was for most of the day. As I sat and enjoyed mine, I did take into consideration the amount of homeless veterans that are out there that at very best are in soup kitchens tonight.
At very best. Mm-hmm.
Our military that's out there suffering PTSD tonight, or emotional depression, or despondent, and having a hard time coping with the day period, that could really use a buddy to talk to tonight. Or are elderly, or just, anybody. You don't have to be any particular age or of any particular background to be alone on the holidays. And, the fact of the matter is there are a lot of people that are alone in a large crowd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, between now and the first of the year, another month and a half or so, not even a month and a half, this is a tough time of the year for a lot of people. It really is. Tough time of the year. A lot of expectations, that people have, and sometimes it's just hard to meet them, and getting together with family and whatever the case may be.
Well, exactly. But I understand you have another story that you want to relay.
I do, but I don't know if I can read it in time. I don't know if we've got enough time for it, V.
Oh, sure we do. Go for it.
You think so? All right.
Absolutely.
Folks, love him or hate him, I love Rush Limbaugh. I'm kind of doing something that I've wanted to do because of his inspiration. And the transcript I have, and I think it might have been the first time he did it, was November 24, 2010. So this is right from Rush. It's called The Truth Story of Thanksgiving, and I think it's a good way to end the show and something for us to think about. And like I said, he engenders either a lot of enthusiasm or a lot of hatred, depending on who you are. He's kind of a bombastic personality, shall we say. But this is in his words. He gets all the credit for it. I didn't do anything. I'm just simply reading. And like I said, it's The True Story of Thanksgiving, dated November 24, 2010. And here we go. It's time for the traditional true story of Thanksgiving as written by me in my second bestseller of 2.5 million copies in hardback, entitled See, I Told You So. Chapter 6 is entitled Dead White Guys, or What the History Books Never Told You, The True Story of Thanksgiving. The story of the Pilgrims begins in the early part of the 17th century. The Church of England under King James I was persecuting anyone and everyone who did not recognize its absolute civil and spiritual authority. Those who challenged ecclesiastical authority and those who believed strongly in freedom of worship were hunted down, imprisoned, and sometimes executed for their beliefs. A group of separatists first fled to Holland and established a community. After 11 years, about 40 of them agreed to make a perilous journey to the New World, where they would certainly face hardships but could live and worship God according to the dictates of their own consciences. On August 1, 1620, the Mayflower set sail. It carried a total of 102 passengers, including 40 pilgrims led by William Bradford. On the journey, Bradford set up an agreement, a contract, that established just and equal laws for all members of the new community, irrespective of their religious beliefs. Where did the revolutionary ideas expressed in the Mayflower Compact come from? From the Bible. The Pilgrims were a people completely steeped in the lessons of the Old and New Testaments. They looked to the ancient Israelites for their example. And because of the biblical precedents set forth in Scripture, They never doubted that their experiment would work. But this was no pleasure cruise, friends. The journey to the New World was a long and arduous one. And when the Pilgrims landed in New England in November, they found, according to Bradford's detailed journal, a cold, barren, desolate wilderness. There were no friends to greet them, he wrote. There were no houses to shelter them. There were no inns where they could refresh themselves. And the sacrifice they had made for freedom was just beginning. During the first winter, half the Pilgrims, including Bradford's own wife, died of either starvation, sickness, or exposure. When spring finally came, Indians taught the settlers how to plant corn, fish for cod, and skin beavers for coats. Life improved for the Pilgrims, but they did not yet prosper. This is important to understand because this is where modern American history lessons often end. Thanksgiving is actually explained in some textbooks as a holiday for which the Pilgrims gave thanks to the Indians for saving their lives, rather than as a devout expression of gratitude grounded in the tradition of both the Old and New Testaments. Here is the part that has been omitted. The original contract the Pilgrims had entered into with their merchant sponsors in London called for everything they produced to go into a common store, and each member of the community was entitled to one common share. All of the land they cleaned and the houses they built belonged to the community as well. They were going to distribute it equally. All of the land they cleaned and the houses they built belonged to the community as well. Nobody owned anything. They just had a share in it. It was a commune, folks. It was the forerunner to the communes we saw in the 60s and 70s out in California, and it was complete with organic vegetables, by the way. There's no question they were organic vegetables. Bradford, who had become the new governor of the colony, recognized that this form of collectivism was as costly and destructive to the Pilgrims as the first harsh winter which had taken so many lives. He decided to take bold action. Bradford assigned a plot of land to each family to work and manage, thus turning loose the power of the marketplace. That's right. Long before Karl Marx was even born, the Pilgrims had discovered and experimented with what could only be described as socialism. And what happened? It didn't work. They nearly starved. It has never worked. What Bradford and his community found was that the most creative and industrious people had no incentive to work any harder than anyone else unless they could utilize the power of personal motivation. But while most of the rest of the world has been experimenting with socialism for well over 100 years, trying to refine it, perfect it, and reinvent it, the Pilgrims decided early on to scrap it permanently. What Bradford wrote about this social experiment should be in every school child's history lesson. If it were, we might prevent such needless suffering in the future, such as we're enduring now. The experience that we have had in this common coursing condition, this is Bradford. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm sorry about that. The experience we have had in this common coursing condition tried sundry years that by taking away property and bringing community into a commonwealth would make them happy and flourishing as if they were wiser than God, Bradford wrote. For this community, so far as it was found to breed much confusion and discontent and retard much employment that would have been for their benefit and comfort. For young men that were most able to fit for labor and service did repine that they should spend their time and strength to work for other men's wives and children without any recompense, without being paid for it. That was thought injustice. Why should you work for other people when you can't work for yourself? That's what he was saying. The Pilgrims found that people could not be expected to do their best without incentive. So what did Bradford's community try next? They unharnessed the power of good old free enterprise by invoking the undergirding capitalistic principle of private property. Every family was assigned its own plot of land to work and permitted to market its own crops and products. And what was the result? This had very good success, wrote Bradford, for it had made all hands industrious, so as much more corn was planted than otherwise would have been. Is it possible that supply-side economics could have existed before the 1980s? Yes. Read the story of Joseph and Pharaoh in Genesis 41. Following Joseph's suggestion in Genesis 41:34, Pharaoh reduced the tax on Egyptians to 20% during the 7 years of plenty, and the earth brought forth in heaps, Genesis 41:47. In no time, the Pilgrims found they had more food than they could eat themselves. Now this is where it gets really good, folks, if you're laboring under the misconception that I was, as I was taught in school. So they set up trading posts and exchanged goods with the Indians. The profits allowed them to pay off their debts to the merchants in London. And the success and prosperity of the Plymouth settlement attracted more Europeans and became what came to be known as the Great Puritan Migration. But this story stops when the Indians taught the newly arrived suffering in socialism Pilgrims how to plant corn and fish for cod. That's where the original Thanksgiving story stops, And the story basically doesn't even begin there. The real story of Thanksgiving is William Bradford giving thanks to God for the guidance and the inspiration to set up a thriving colony. The bounty was shared with the Indians. They did sit down, and they did have free-range turkey and organic vegetables, but it was not the Indians who saved the day. It was capitalism and Scripture which saved the day, as acknowledged by George Washington in his first Thanksgiving proclamation in 1789. End transcript.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
It is.
Isn't that? And like you said, the textbooks don't even begin to go there and never will.
Well, they're not going to elaborate on anything that may actually be of truth or fact. I mean, scrub
or give glory
all that.
to God. Such as it is.
Scrub all that.
Right.
Whitewash it, make it disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Lord.
But I love how Rush puts it in, and like I said, he's so bombastic, calling it free-range turkey and organic vegetables, which indeed is what it was. There was no GMOs back then. There was no turkey farms, with them being injected, like the caller had said, full of antibiotics, and stuff to make them grow fast and fatten them up and plump them up. Nothing like that. So that's just a great story and the truth. And I thought it's just kind of a great way to work towards the end of our first annual Thanksgiving Day special.
Well, I think I hope everyone else has enjoyed it as much as I have. It is a very different format from that which we normally participate in, but I for one have truly enjoyed tonight's show, and I hope our listeners have as well. Like I said, it's a little different than what we normally do. We're usually lambasting folks, and tonight, yes, we're giving so much thanks for the myriad of things that we take for granted on a daily basis, I suppose.
Everything. V, when I was growing up, when we lived overseas, every single gallon of water we had to treat with 8 drops of Clorox to prevent, sickness, disease, possibly even up into and including death. And I'm telling you what, folks, if you've never done that, 8 drops of Clorox will clean that water, but you can taste that 8 drops of Clorox. I don't care how much lemonade packets you put in it or whatever flavoring you might try to wash it away, but it kept us well. So anytime, we just go to a faucet here in America and we get clean drinking water without thinking about it, or, from the refrigerator, wherever you get it from. Wow. I mean, it's just amazing that we can do that. So many countries in the world don't have that capability of getting clean drinking water from a faucet, much less, in their home, much less from, from a faucet. It's just something we take for granted, and there's just so many things we do, all of us do, on a daily basis, and so many things we have to be thankful for. And like V said, that people are willing to even die to come here, to be able to experience the freedom and all the great things that we have here in this country, no matter how many warts she has. There's no other country I'd rather live in. None whatsoever.
Absolutely not. And, today, we focus on these things on Thanksgiving, but the fact of the matter is that, it is really deserving that, we give it more broader consideration than that on a multitude of days. Actually, every day we should be giving thanks and being grateful. But we do get lost in our day-to-day grind. We do get lost and caught up in what is occurring that, brings forth our outrage or our focus and concentration, our dedication and commitment. So it kind of does get thrown on the back burner. And I am, I'm truly appreciative of the fact that at least one day a year, we're given an opportunity to really focus all of our energy into, all the wonderful things that we are blessed with that we don't necessarily acknowledge on a regular basis.
Very well said. And you know what? Before we finish the show, I can't go out of this show without a Ronald Reagan quote. I'm a huge fan. I know you are, V, lots of our listeners. And this is a short one. Let us keep this Thanksgiving Day sacred. Let us thank God for the bounty and goodness of our nation. And as a measure of our gratitude, Let us rededicate ourselves to the preservation of this, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Ronald Reagan.
Well, guys, this was our first annual Thanksgiving show. We appreciate you guys sticking with us tonight. We just love you guys. There's no point in us being here without you. And again, we are thankful for that. We're thankful that you guys take it upon yourselves to go out there and spread our name and our show via word of mouth, and get other people to come in and listen to us. We're glad that you enjoy us like that. CPR Worldwide Media has other programming as well that is of good quality. We have an excellent station. I do believe that we are one of the few, if not one of the only stations that has major sponsorships such as Ford, Universal Studios, Citizens United, Citigroup, etc. And we're very blessed that they chose us and asked us to be part of it. But other shows on the station that you guys might want to check out, make sure to check out Craig Andreessen and Diane Sori on Right Side Patriots. They're on Wednesday and Saturday. And then also the State Legislators of the Round Table with Charles Kaprowitz and company on Tuesday night following our show, and on Friday nights from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And it's just been a blessing to be here with you guys tonight. We thank you so much. Jose?
Folks, you can always catch us live Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern, and we're just blessed by you folks. And I just want to say before we go, God bless all of you, and God bless America.
Amen to that. You guys have a great night. We'll see you guys again on Monday night. We are here live Monday through Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can catch our recast on our website. Check our recast schedule at www.thewtfradioshow.com. Good night, folks. Have a good one.
God bless America. Take care.
So don't tell me who's wrong and right when liberty starts slipping away. And if you ain't gonna fight, get out of the way. 'Cause freedom makes so free when you breathe red and white and blue. I'm giving all myself, 'cause that's what I do. And they call me warrior, they call me loyalty, and they call me ready to provide relief and help out wherever you need me to be. I'm an American warrior, citizen soldier. I'm an American warrior, citizen soldier. Citizen soldier. I'll never leave another behind.